Now the Note 8 Pro has a lot to talk about, but I'm going to limit it to three key things. That is the Aura design, a 64 megapixel quad camera array, and of course, it is a performance monster. Now with Aura design, so introducing the first color, and we are calling this color the Gamma Green. Now for the first time on the Redmi Note series, we are introducing an all-new four-sided curved rear glass. This makes it comfortable to hold either vertically or of course as the gamers would want it, even horizontally. Now that is the Gamma Green. You've got one more color, and that is the all-new Halo White. Now this white, awesome the way it diffracts that light. And of course, we have one more color. Yes, we have an all-new Shadow Black as well. With Xiaomi, you are guaranteed to have the best possible quality, and that's not a different case here. You get Gorilla Glass 5 at the back as well as the front. For the very first time on the Redmi Note series, we've got an IP52 rating. Moving to the front, when we look at the display, the biggest challenge that we had was the bottom chin. With the Note 8 Pro, what we've done is we've moved this chip into the flex itself. And because of this, you're able to fold it right back, and that gives you a much, much smaller chin than ever before. That this has the highest screen to body ratio at 91.4%. With just about 2 millimeters up top and 4 millimeters at the bottom, it is at 500 nits, our first HDR enabled display on a Redmi Note. Let's get into the 64 megapixel part first. We're the first to announce the sensor, and hence this became the first phone in the world to have a 64 megapixel sensor built in. Now what does the 64 megapixel get you? Well, you get images like this. What's really amazing about this is you can see each and every house in this image. In fact, not just that, when you look closer and when you zoom in, you can see every window, every door, the entire clarity being kept there. And this is definitely possible because of such a large sensor. Now this is a 64 megapixel camera on the Realme XT. So when you look at the sign, you can clearly see that the sign is still readable. Now it's inside, it's indoors, and of course with light coming from the back, it becomes really hard. The photograph that you see on the right side is actually the Redmi Note 7 Pro. In fact, when you add the Redmi Note 8 Pro to this comparison, it's on a whole new level. Let me zoom in, and you can start seeing the difference. The colors, the details, everything is far, far superior. Now here's a Oppo Reno 2 and a OnePlus 7 Pro. I know they're 48, but the prices are still quite high. So might as well compare that, right? Let me zoom in a bit and start showing you the difference. The clarity on the Note 8 Pro and the entire accuracy of the colors and the way the light has been treated is far superior. But when the light conditions are challenging. Now on the Note 8 Pro, not only is it more accurate, the exposure has been kept in check. It's not blown out like the Reno 2. And of course, the smart ISO kicks in with the sensor, so you do not see the kind of noise that you see on the OnePlus 7 Pro. You've got a primary 64 megapixel sensor. We've added a wide angle. In fact, it's ultra wide at 120 degrees. And perhaps my favorite camera in this entire setup is a macro lens. We've enabled a 2 centimeter focal distance, letting you go really close. Of course, the Note series, right from the Redmi Note 5 Pro, has been known for portraiture, and you get that with a depth sensor as well. And that completes the 4 cameras that you're getting on the Note 8 Pro. Right? Now this picture could be anywhere in the world, but when you switch to an ultra wide mode, you can complete the entire picture, and you can see that he's pointing at the Mehrangarh Fort in Jodhpur. By a 2 centimeter focal distance, you can have some magical images. Images like this. What you can clearly see is each pollen inside a flower. You can go that close. You can actually take a macro video. You can get, and let me show you a video that's been shot on the Note 8 Pro. Now, portrait mode also is enabled, of course. And what you can see is the edge detection again becomes really tough. And that's, of course, the portrait part of it. Now, the night mode. This is just the normal mode. When you turn on the night mode, the party completely changes. And that brings me to my favorite section, performance. So on the Redmi Note 8 Pro, you get a 34% bump in performance, taking it to the next level. And this has been possible thanks to the Helio G90T chipset. If you're playing PUBG, you can go all the way to extreme. That is 60 frames per second on the smooth setting. And because this display supports HDR, when you have HDR enabled, you can go all the way to ultra. Perhaps the only phone in the world below $300 to offer liquid cooling inside the phone. You do get a lot of temperature reduction, and it's married to another copper plate which helps diffuse this heat. And not just the RAM, when it gets to storage, we are going to bump it all the way to 128 with UFS 2.1 storage speeds. A dedicated micro SD card slot. You get a 2-day battery, and you also have 18-watt fast charging support. Comes in the box.
Okay, now for the toughest and the most interesting part, which is the price. We will start with only 6 GB, 64 GB, because this is the minimum that our pro users demand from us. And we said this 6 GB, 64 GB should be launched at only 14,999. 6 GB, 128 GB at 15,999. And for Ultra Pro users, we have 8 GB, 128 GB at 17,999. They will be available starting next week on Monday, 21st of October. Both of them together across Mi.com, our partner platform, Amazon, and Mi Home stores, and soon available across all our thousands of offline stores. Really appreciate all of you guys taking out time to join us. So thank you so much, everybody.